साक्षात् सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी ऋषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम् Wonderful. Thank you, join करने के everything is sorry. Thank you all for joining here. Um, I was talking about Narsinga Chaturdashi, which is coming on Thursday. So Prahlad Maharaj is asking, where was that? Sorry, I don't have the link open, but this is in some other scripture. So he's asking, what did I do in my previous life that I became your devotee? And Narsingadev actually explains. Narsingadev explains to Prahlad Maharaj, actually he was a son of a Brahmana in his previous life, Prahlad Maharaj. And he was not at all interested in spiritual life. And he was in love with one prostitute. And one time, especially one day, so he went with his girlfriend or prostitute to a lonely place. And when he went there, he actually they had a fight. And then in that fight, they actually stopped talking to each other. They did not eat anything. They did not drink anything. The whole night they were awake, being upset with everyone. And that day happens to be Narsimha Chaturdashi. And because that day was Narsimha Chaturdashi, unknowingly he performed austerity. What is that austerity he did? He did an austerity by not eating anything and not drinking anything and not sleeping that day. And because of that, he happened to become Prahlad in his next life. And one may say, what happened to that prostitute then? She actually went to the heavenly world. And then after their finishing her desires in heavenly planet, she went back to Godhead as well. So this is the power of Narsimha Chaturdashi, actually a very, very powerful festival to actually make us deepen our spiritual life, take our commitments towards spiritual life. These festivals are actually to revive our commitments, because what happens is we take some commitments, over the time we don't do that, it just disappears from there. So these festival moments are the moments, on those days specifically, we recommit ourselves. We may have driven away, or we may have been distracted. So we use these festivals, ekadashis, such moments actually, um, to relive, to realign our goals in Krishna consciousness, because life is so short. Life is just going so fast. I was just the other day, there was a very young guy, like 30, 35. I think that's approximately age. He had a brain stroke, and he was admitted in the hospital and all that. So pretty young actually. So we don't know where is what time is our death coming, what time our trouble times come, and we can't actually control any of that stuff. They come like the seasons come and go. But the only thing which we have control of is basically trying to remember Krishna and utilizing every breath in remembering and serving Krishna. So we are on chapter 18, which is entitled as of one in ecstatic love. Very important chapter. We are talking about how do I know that someone is in ecstatic love based on these symptoms. So, oops. Yeah. So we are talking about great hope. The strong conviction that one will certainly receive the favor of Supreme Personality of Godhead is called in Sanskrit Ashabandha. Ashabandha means to continue to think because I am trying my best to follow the routine principle of devotional service. I will go back to God and back to home. In this connection, one prayer by Rupa Goswami is sufficient to exemplify this hopefulness. He says, I have no love for Krishna, nor for the causes of developing love for Krishna, namely hearing and chanting. This is very interesting. This is actually out of humility. Who is Rupa Goswami? He is a Rupa Manjari. Rupa Manjari is actually a very close associate of Srimati Radharani. And he is writing, I have no love for Krishna, nor for the causes of developing love on Krishna, namely hearing and chanting. He's telling us out of humility. Because one of the very important quality one develops when grow in bhakti, especially coming to this platform of spontaneous love, one becomes humble. He feels he has no qualification. And the process of bhakti yoga by which one is always thinking of Krishna and fixing his lotus feet in heart is also lacking in me. He's telling, but in bhakti yoga, the main crux is that always remembering Krishna and his lotus feet. He's saying that is also lacking in me. Then he continues, as far as philosophical knowledge or pious work are concerned, I don't see any opportunity for me to execute such activities. He's thinking about I'm not even thinking about reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam or this. Imagine he's an author of such a wonderful literature. But above all, I'm not even born of a nice family. I don't have a good background. Therefore, I must simply pray to you, Gopi Janavallabha, Krishna, maintainer and beloved of gopis. I simply wish and hope that some way or other I may be able to approach your lotus feet, and this hope is giving me pain because I think myself quite incompetent to approach that transcendental goal of life. Srila Prabhupada, one time one disciple was asking Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, what is our qualification that we attain Krishna consciousness? Prabhupada said, you had no qualification. I built your qualification. Not that he was trying to be an egoistic person in telling, but he was seeing the heart of the other person thinking that wow, I may have done some great work and that's why I'm here. It is the mercy of Guru who is actually in connection with parampara, because ultimately everything flows from Krishna and ultimately comes to Guru, and Guru empowers the disciple. The purport is that under this heading of Asha Bandha, one should continue to hope against hope that some way or other he'll be able to approach the lotus feet of Supreme Lord. Very wonderful section. I want to make a note of it, and there's a very wonderful prayer we can offer when we go in front of the deities. Let's read this again one more time. Very beautiful. I have no love for Krishna, nor for cause of developing love for Krishna, namely hearing and chanting. And the process of bhakti yoga by which one is always thinking of Krishna and fixing his lotus feet in his heart is also lacking in me. As far as philosophical knowledge or pious work are concerned, I don't see any opportunity for me to execute such activities. But above all, I am not even born of nice family. Therefore, I must simply pray to you, Gopi Jana Vallabha, Krishna, maintainer and beloved of gopis. I simply wish and hope that some way or other I may be able to approach your lotus feet. And this hope is giving me pain because I think myself quite incompetent to approach that transcendental goal of life. Very beautiful. Another section is any comments before we go to the next section?
No problem. But I didn't understand when you said he talks that about humility. What does that
Hmm.
mean?
Humility means understanding that I have no qualification. One thinks very lowly about himself, thinking that I have no qualification to actually take darshan of Krishna and serving Krishna. They feel they have no qualification. Sometimes people ask this question, when will Krishna give me darshan? Because they think they are qualified. But the
Mm.
pure devotees are actually in such a humble state of mind that they think they have no qualification. They can't even attain bhakti. They can never get Krishna's mercy.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Mhm. eagerness for achieving the desired success. When one is sufficiently eager to achieve success in devotional service, that eagerness is called samut, samutkanta. Very beautiful word, samutkanta. This means complete eagerness. Actually, this eagerness is the price for achieving success in Krishna consciousness. One should always be eager to actually practice devotional service, eager to chant, eager to associate with devotees, eager to participate in kirtan. Everything has some value, and one has to pay the value before obtaining or possessing it. What is the exchange? What is the money we have to pay to attain Krishna? What do we have to pay to attain Krishna? Is that laulyam, which is eagerness to practice devotional service in any aspect. It is stated in Vedic literature that to purchase the most valuable thing, Krishna consciousness, one has to develop intense eagerness for achieving success. This intense eagerness is very nicely expressed by Bilwa Mangal Thakur, a very beautiful author actually. He wrote Krishna Karnamrita. I'll tell, we'll just read this and I'll tell. He says, I'm eagerly waiting to see that boy of Vrindavan, whose body beauty is captivating the whole universe, whose eyes are always bounded by black eyebrows and expanded like lotus petals, and who is always eagerly glancing over his devotees and therefore moving slightly here and there. His eyes are always moist, his lips are colored like copper, and through those lips are through lips there comes a sound vibration which drives one madder than a mad elephant. I want so much to see him at Vrindavan. So Bilwa Mangal Thakur, little bit about him. When he was a young, of course, this is also young, but he was actually in love with a prostitute. He was in love with the prostitute. One time, his actually father passed away, and he actually finished the final rites, and he wanted to go and enjoy the prostitute because he was so lusty about that prostitute, and it was a heavy rainstorm which was happening. So when this rainstorm was happening, he was supposed to cross the river, but there are no boats because of the rainstorm. So he actually caught hold of, without realizing, a dead corpse, a dead body, because it is floating. So he hold that and he crossed the river, and he came to the other side of the river and ran towards this prostitute's house. Her name was Chintamani. So he knocked the door, but nobody opened the door. So there was a tree next to the door and there was a window up. So he actually wanted to climb. So he wanted a rope, and there was actually a snake. He hold the snake and climbed up and came to Chintamani, the prostitute, without realizing that this was dead corpse and there is snake. And Chintamani, how come you are here? Your father just died. You're supposed to take care of the situation there. Why you are here? And how did you come here? And he actually did not understand. He defined that, saying that how he landed there. Chintamani said, if you had that love for Krishna, you would have attained Krishna by this time. That laulium, that eagerness to enjoy me. If that eagerness you have for Krishna, you will attain Krishna. He understood a deeper lesson there. His heart was open to actually take up Krishna consciousness. So he took Chintamani as her guru, his guru, and followed her instruction. And then he started practicing bhakti. But the desire to enjoy opposite sex was so strong. One time, he saw a beautiful lady and he followed her. And she went into a house and he knocked the door. And then her husband, who was a Brahmana, opened the door. And Brahmanas are like always welcoming. So he actually knocked the door, and this Brahmana opened, and then he came inside. And then wife served him prasad and all that stuff. And then Brahmana said, whatever you wish, I will give you. Because he was attacked by the lust to enjoy. He said, I want to enjoy with your wife. Brahmana was completely confused. What are you asking for? But because he promised, he told his wife that, I made a vow. And when Bilwa Mangal went to her, he said, can I have your hairpin? He picked up the hairpin and poke in his eyes. He became blind because he was thinking these eyes are the problem. because of whom, because of which I can actually to get to attract the opposite, get to be attracted to opposite sex. And then actually he went into ecstasy, mad after Krishna, and he actually became a great author. His name became Bilwa Mangal Thakur. And he wrote many books, and one of his book is called as Krishna Karnamrita. And this is a beautiful prayer we read. What a beautiful one. I'm eagerly waiting to see that boy of Vrindavan whose bodily beauty is captivating the whole universe, whose eyes are always bounded by black eyebrows and expanded like lotus petal, and who's always eagerly glancing over his devotees and therefore moving slightly here and there. His eyes are always moist, his lips are colored like copper, and there through those lips there comes a sound vibration which drives one madder than a mad elephant. I want so much to see him at Vrindavan. Very beautiful. Any comments or questions before we move to next section?
No, Prabhu.
Okay. Attachment to chanting the holy name of the Lord. In the same Krishna Karnamrita, which was written by Bilwa Mangal Thakur, there is another statement about the chanting of Radharani. It is said that by one of the associates of Radharani, O Lord, he tells actually to one of the associates of Radharani, O Lord Govinda, the girl who is daughter of King Rishabhanu is now shedding tears, and she is anxiously chanting the holy name Krishna Krishna. So he is actually telling what is happening to Srimati Radharani, that she is actually the daughter of King Rishabhanu, and now she is shedding tears in the separation of Krishna, and she is calling the name Krishna Krishna. Eager the Lord's transcendental qualities. Attachment for chanting the glories of Lord is also expressed in Krishna Karnamrita as follows. What shall I do for Krishna, who is pleasing beyond all pleasurable conception, and who is naughtier than all restless boy? The idea of Krishna's beautiful activities is attracting my heart, and I do not know what I can do. So he is so much intoxicated by love of Krishna that he cannot stop thinking and talking about Krishna. Attraction for living in a place where Krishna has his pastimes. In the book of Padyavali, that is another book written by Rupa Goswami, there is a following statement about Vrindavan. In this place, the son of Maharaj Nanda used to live with his father, who was king of all coward men. In this place, Lord Krishna broke the cart in which the Saktasura demon was concealed. At this place, Damodar, who can cut the knot of our material existence, was tied up by his mother Yashoda. So there was actually, Kamsa sent a demon called a Shakatasur. He came in a subtle body actually, because demons had the power to actually change their form. So Yashoda Maya, just few days old Krishna was. Yashoda Maya put Krishna in the cart, and then she took care of the house duties. And Krishna actually kicked the cart because Shakatasur was there. And cart flew in the air and fell down and broke into pieces. And everyone was feared by what was that sound, and they came. That whole cart is broken, but Krishna is safe. So that is the demon of Shakatasur, who is actually disguising himself in different ways. Same sometimes have external thought process, different internal. I'm thinking about myself. We are duplicit, and that is what Shakatasur represents. One should not be duplicit. One should be same as inside as well as outside. So in the same continuation, it writes, a pure devotee of Lord Krishna resides in the district of Mathura or Vrindavan and visits all the places where Krishna's pastimes were performed. At these sacred places, Krishna displayed his childhood activities with the boys and Mother Yashoda. The system of circumambulating all these places is still current among devotees of Lord Krishna, and those coming to Mathura and Vrindavan always feel transcendental pleasure. Actually, if someone goes to Vrindavan, he will immediately feel separation from Krishna, who performed such nice activities when he was present there. So even today, when we go, devotees actually do Vrindavan Parikrama, they do Govardhan Parikrama, they do Barsana Parikrama. Very auspicious to actually perform these parikramas. Such attraction for remembering Krishna's activity is known as attachment for Krishna. There are impersonal philosophers and mystics, however, who by show of devotional service want ultimately to merge into existence of Supreme Lord. They sometimes try to imitate a pure devotee's sentiment for visiting the holy places where Krishna had his pastimes, but they simply have a view of salvation, and so their activities cannot be considered attachment. So one may still go to Vrindavan, do parikrama with the material desire. That is not considered to be pure. It is said by Rupa Goswami that the attachment exhibited by pure devotees for Krishna cannot possibly be perfected in the hearts of karmis or mental speculator, because such attachment in pure Krishna consciousness is very rare, not possible to achieve even for a many liberated person. We see our situation, how much attachment we have for Krishna, but we have so much of attachment to our family members. We want to see them, we want to see their photos, we want to talk about them, we want to glorify them. But how much time do we spend chanting name of Krishna, glorifying Krishna, offering prayer to Krishna? Very little bit. And this is what is mentioned because we are so much attached in this material world. That's why the attachment to Krishna does not manifest in our heart. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, liberation from material contamination is the stage at which devotional service can be achieved. For a person who simply wants to have liberation and to merge into impersonal Brahman Jyoti, attachment to Krishna is not possible to acquire. This attachment is confidentially kept by Krishna and is bestowed only upon pure devotees. Even ordinary devotees cannot have such pure attachment for Krishna. Therefore, how is it possible for success to be achieved by persons whose hearts are contaminated by actions and reaction, which is karma, or fruitive activities, and who are entangled by various type of mental speculation? So we have to know this heart has to be pure to actually have full benefit or full fruit of Krishna consciousness. We are not there yet. We are trying. We are trying to crawl. We are trying to walk and maybe to run. But once we purify our heart, then our heart is only crying and calling out for Krishna and thinking about Krishna. There are so many called devotees who artificially think of Krishna's pastime known as Ashtakalya Leela. Sometimes one may artificially imitate these, pretending that Krishna is talking with him in the form of a boy. Or else one may pretend that Radharani and Krishna both have come to him and are talking with him. Some pseudo people, actually, those are called as sahajiyas. They try to imitate pure devotees. They Because they want to show, they want to gain respect from others. But pure devotee doesn't want to gain respect. He hides his symptoms of bhakti. Such characters are sometimes exhibited by impersonalist class of men, and they may captivate some innocent persons who have no knowledge in the science of devotional service. However, as soon as the experienced devotee sees all these caricatures, he can evaluate such rascaldism. If such a pretender is sometimes seen possessing imitative attachment to Krishna, that will not be accepted as real attachment. It may be said, however, that such attachment gives the pretender hope that he may eventually rise onto the actual platform of pure devotional service. This imitative attachment can be divided into two headings, namely shadow attachment and para attachment. If someone, without undergoing the regulative principle of devotional service, which is Vaidhi Bhakti, which we are doing, or without being guided by bona fide spiritual master, shows such imitative attachment, this is called a shadow attachment. Sometimes it is found that a person actually attached to material enjoyment or salvation has the good fortune to associate with pure devotees while they are engaged in chanting the holy name of the Lord. By the good grace of the Lord, one may also cooperate and join in the chanting. So there may be certain people who are attached to material life and looking for liberation, but they come in association with pure devotees. And then they join the process, they chant Krishna's name. And because they are coming in association, like rays from their heart reflects on him. And by the influence of pure devotees, he may show some likeness for attachment caused by inquisitiveness flickering, which means it stays for a certain period of time and then again he goes to the regular activity. And if by the manifestation of such shadow attachment one feels a disappearance of all material pang, then it is called as para attachment. So slowly one comes to the platform, we can detach from all this stuff, and then he can actually practice that. Such shadow attachment or para attachment can develop if one associates with pure devotee or visits holy places like Vrindavan or Mathura. And if an ordinary man develops such attachment for Krishna and fortunately performs devotional activities in the association of pure devotees, he can also rise to the platform of pure devotional service. The conclusion is that transcendental attachment is so powerful that if such attachment is seen manifested even in common man by the association of pure devotee, it can bring one to the perfectional stage. But such attachment for Krishna cannot be invoked in a person without his being sufficiently blessed by the association of pure devotees. We quoted so many examples, or we specifically quoted this example so many times about Mrigrari or Ratnakar. They were hunters. But look at the example of Ratnakar. He became Valmiki just by coming in association of Narada Muni. He had no desire to actually bhakti. He was far. He did not even care about what bhakti is all about. But Narada Muni came in his life. Not only he relieved him from whatever sinful things he was doing, but he gave him the Ram Nam and he chanted Ram. And because it came from the mouth of pure devotee, he became Valmiki. As attachment can be invoked by association of pure devotees, so attachment can also be extinguished offenses committed at the lotus feet of pure devotees. Offenses are considered to be like doing wrong things for pure devotees. Like a mad elephant. Mad elephant, when he enters into the garden, he destroys whole garden. So what attachment one may get and coming in association of pure devotees, if one criticizes pure devotee, hey, why look at this, how is he doing? Look at this, how much he's eating. Gone. To be more clear, by the association of pure devotees, attachment for Krishna can be aroused, but the lotus feet of devotee, one shadow attachment or para attachment can be extinguished. This extinguishing is like the waning of full moon, which gradually decreases and at last becomes dark. One should therefore be very careful while associating with pure devotees to guard against committing an offense at their lotus feet. One has to be very careful. Transcendental attachment, either shadow or para, can be nullified by different degrees of offenses at lotus feet of pure devotees. One should be, that's why one should remain humble, because if one start thinking, oh yeah, I know Bhagavad Gita, I know this, then actually when you come in front of pure devotees, you'll offend. And if you offend, then your whole Krishna consciousness is gone. And if the offense is very serious, then one's attachment becomes almost nil. And if the offense is not very serious, one's attachment can become second class or third class or degree. If it's a smaller offense, then you come down and you come down. But if it's a bigger offense, you complete of Krishna consciousness. Becomes attached to the principle of salvation or to merging into existence of Brahman Jyoti, his ecstasy is gradually diminished into shadow and para attachment, or else transform into the principles of ahang grahopasana, pashana. The ahang grahopashana describes a living entity when he begins spiritual realization by identifying himself with Supreme Lord. This state of self-realization is technically known as monism. The monist think himself one with the Supreme Lord. Thus, because he does not differentiate between himself and Supreme Lord, it is his view that by worshipping himself, he is worshipping the Supreme Whole. So they think myself and Krishna, there is no difference. So I can worship myself, which is because I am Krishna. This is the biggest problem. Monism. Some neophyte is taking part in chanting and dancing very enthusiastically, but within himself, he is under the impression that he has become one with the Supreme Whole. He start even practicing devotional service. One may think, "Oh, I'm God." The conception of monism is completely different from pure transcendental devotional service. If, however, it is seen that a person has developed a high standard of devotion without having undergone even the regulative principle, it is to be understood that his status of devotional service was achieved in the former life. So you may see certain people who they come to bhakti and all of a sudden they develop bhakti very fast. So one should understand they are bringing that from previous life. For some reason or another, it has been temporarily stopped, most probably by an offense committed at the lotus feet of devotee. One may fall down and come to next life because where whatever development has been done, it is not gone. It continues from next life. Now with good second chance, it has again begun to develop. The conclusion is that steady progress in devotional service can be attained only in association of pure devotees. If one can gradually advance a status in devotional service, this is understood to be due to the causeless mercy of Krishna himself. If a person is completely detached from material enjoyment and has developed pure ecstatic devotion, even if he is sometimes accidentally found not living up to the standard of devotional service, one should not be envious of him. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that a unflinching faith in the devotion of the Lord, even if sometimes found to be accidentally deviated from pure devotional characteristics, should still be counted among the pure. Unflinching faith in devotional service, in Lord Krishna, and in spiritual master makes one highly elevated in the activities of devotional service. Any questions or comments so far? Very beautiful section actually.
No problem.
Beautiful. It is in the Narsimha Purana. It is stated if a person has completely engaged his mind and body and activities in the service of Supreme Lord, but externally is found to be engaged in some abominable activities. These abominable activities will surely be very quickly vanished by the influence of staunch devotional service. A very beautiful aspect actually. So much of hope is there. So even if because of the conditioning, because of his previous life, because of the karma one performs, one comes to the path of bhakti, try to practice bhakti, but at the same time, because of the conditioning, whatever he has done in the past, he may still continue externally. And this is a hope. Purana, it is mentioned that that will go away slowly. This example is given that on the full moon, there are some spots that may appear to be poke marks. Still, the illumination spread by full moon cannot be checked. Similarly, a little fault in the midst of volumes of devotional service is not at all to be counted as a fault. Attachment for Krishna is transcendental bliss. Amid unlimited volumes of transcendental bliss, a spot of some material defect cannot act in any way. So you may see when you grow in bhakti, you may see certain devotees, they are really high class devotee, but there are certain flaws in them. And how should we consider like a full moon? There are maybe some drops of black spots that does not hide what moonlight can give. So one should ignore the fault actually, because at least one is trying to practice bhakti to the highest level. Any comments or questions so far?
Prabhu, I have seen people are, as you said, like people judge other devotees and all that. That's the thing you're specifying here. Once, because your journey is your journey, not anybody else's journey.
Yeah.
So think about yourself first, and nothing else is matter. Because the way you do bhakti, the other person is do bhakti. You are not the person to judge others, even though
Ah,
they're wrong or they're right. Unless
Suma.
you are a guru, you're
Ah,
you are not a judge. uh, you're not at that stage to judge any others. So just keep quiet and respect and move on. Even though I feel like if some people they judge others, oh, like they're fake and all that, I'm like, तुम कौन होते हो बोलने वाले? You don't know their life and their um their bhakti. Maybe they're coming from somewhere else. We don't know. We are not God, and neither we are the gurus. So
very beautiful, very nicely said, Mataji. Yes, one has to have a authority to correct someone.
yeah, just like teacher. Once you're
Correct.
in a school, teacher can correct you, not your like friends,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
they can probably do more harm rather than doing right things.
100%. That's the exact concept which you brought in. So one has to understand. And if one has developed that relationship with that person and that person asks, oh, you know what, how am I doing? Am I doing correctly? Then you may correct, saying that, oh, you know what, in my opinion, this is not right. And if he is willing to accept it, then you move forward. But if you don't have that, should not give suggestions. Very important aspect, actually.
Yes, Prabhu, the same thing that you just said before. More you correct someone and trying to bring them in a path or something, your bhakti disappears.
Yeah, because Bhakti does not disappear, but the problem is that
No,
our mind is the problem.
yeah, the mindset, and because
Yeah.
you think, sometimes you think I am the superior than others.
Exactly,
Like that's
exactly.
why they say bhakti जितना छुपाओगे उतना बढ़ेगा, and ज्ञान जितना बांटोगे उतना बढ़ेगा.
Exactly. Very nice point. Yes. The knowledge has to be spread, but at the same time, the inner bhakti should be kept inside. You don't want to publicly show like a husband-wife relationship, whatever they have their confidential things. You don't share private things outside. So bhakti is even more private actually. So I not mean that you should not publicize, but you may have certain close people, and it takes time to actually find one whom you can share and clarify for certain things, which is very rare thing to get, and that's a wonderful thing. So someone whom we are very close, who will not judge us, we can ask and then clarify that thing for sure.
Yes, Prabhu.
Wonderful. Naresh Prabhu, everything okay? You are able to follow along? Any comments?
Yes, Prabhu. I'm just listening. No, I'm in my prod development. There was
uh,
no Prabhu. Just I'm
okay.
listening and
No problem, Prabhu. Very grateful for you joining in. I think this is all we will cover today. We will continue chapter 19 tomorrow. But how I wanted to collect the feedback. How do you think this is going? I know we just read and then comment here and there, but how do you find Nectar of Devotion so far? Do you think it's helping you?
Prabhu, I for me everything's talk about Krishna and his lila and everything bhakti. I think is how short or the long process, I think is helping.
Very
The
nice.
more I
Very
hear it, it's better for my heart cleans and inside out.
yeah, very beautiful.
yeah,
Thank you for sharing.
yes, Prabhu. It's like for me, it's simple. Like a regular conversation instead of like
Ah,
what is that Sanskrit text where we are translating into different meanings and trying to understand. It's not like that. It's just a casual conversation.
yeah,
That's
that's a
how I'm.
very nice point. Yes. One important part about Nectar of actually there are a lot of mistakes we do. We don't get to know about those. Nectar of Devotion through examples we get to know. Arey, I am I am doing this. That is one aspect. The second aspect is whatever platform I am in, Nectar of Devotion gives you a way to grow above that. It talks about what should be our consciousness, how we should be thinking, how should we grow in bhakti, what are the areas I should work on, what are the areas I should not go into. It gives you the do's and don'ts, which is related to Nectar of Instruction, but it goes even much more deeper level. So I feel that's very beautiful, very detailed one, especially these chapters which we are reading since last couple of weeks is very nice. Wonderful. Any another question or comments before we end? I think we'll end here, but unless there are any questions or comments.
No problem.
Okay, beautiful. Very grateful for you all joining. Again, Thursday is Narsimha Chaturdashi. Narsimhadev just appeared specifically to deliver Prahlad. Hiranyakashipu killing was anyhow can be done, but he came to give that to give darshan to Prahlad. So let's use our consciousness. Let's purify our consciousness. Focus on our consciousness to recommit our vows. Whatever you are taking, 16 rounds, reading for a few minutes, hearing Prabhupada class daily, or at least weekly 2 classes, or maybe daily if you can do that is even better. So that's all I wanted to speak. Thank you so much. La Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.